Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. The title, I did not get banned. I didn't get banned from anything, as far as I'm aware of. But we're going to discuss someone that got banned on eBay and why they got banned on eBay, which is very, very interesting. Then what else are we going to talk about? Well, first, like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Today is Friday evening for me. It is Pi Day today. Where are we at? Oh, here we go. And we'll talk about a return and just a reference to an investing scheme, or not a scheme. I shouldn't say scheme. An investing strategy. Just something to be aware of, because there are there's always when it comes to making money, there's always a time for that. Good and or bad. But we're going to look at some what sold first right off the bat. If you want to jump to hear me talking about the ban on eBay, then that will be in the what do you call it? You'll see the chapter. You can scroll to it. There'll be there's a break in the timeline there, and you'll be able to see it there. What are we gonna do? We're gonna break some whiskey right now. Oh, you guys can already see that, the first thing. Ha! I didn't even know I had that still up there. Let's bring that down. Just really quick while I pour the first whiskey here. I mean, that's a little bit of whiskey. It's Jameson. But we have an Elijah Craig. I forgot. I thought I had finished this already. Well, I mean, this is not a normal Elijah Craig. This is, hit the mic by accident. This is a barrel proof, uncut, so just straight up from the barrel, nothing added to it. It's not proof down or anything. Now, Elijah Craig, in my opinion, is the quintessential American bourbon. If anybody's asking me, what kind of bourbon should I have? I want a good bourbon or whatever. I'll tell them, just get a bottle of Elijah Craig. It is great as far as, bourbon whiskey goes. One of my, I'm going to say it again, one of my personal favorites. But, okay, this one here, this is taking me, so if you can see, this is taking me, I've had this for just about 3 years. So it's taking me about 3 years to get down to this point here. But it's a really good whiskey. This one here, so the barrel proof, this is as good as Elijah Craig bourbon is, times 10. And it is raging hot. We have a proof of 133.4. The alcohol percentage is 66.7. That's one of the reasons why it's taken so long to get to this point, because you can't have that much of this. It will, yeah, you can't. It'll mess you up if you have too much. So I'm going to be using one of my newer Glenlivet glasses. Glenlivet is a Scotch whiskey, but the reason why I chose this is because I still wanted to have that Glencairn tulip style pattern, but this one has a wider opening on top, and because the vapors coming out of this thing are intense, they will destroy your nose. So I didn't want such a narrow opening. I want it to be a little bit more open, not just like a rocks glass where it's just straight up open, all the vapors escaping. You still want a little bit of those vapors, get that that bourbon, that cherry coke type of scent going, because you taste with your nose, you taste with your mouth, so that's why I grabbed this one here, just because it has the wider opening to assist with the intense vapors from this incredibly hot bourbon. I need to get another bottle of this. I think it releases around the end of the year. A lot of good releases come out towards the end of the year. I think it's around August or so. I think, I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to, I usually will just go down to Total Wine or my local liquor store. Pretty expensive at my local liquor store if I were buying there, but I'd prefer to pick it up at Total Wine if I could, because then you get a better price. Now, we're not gonna. You can't pour too much, like I said. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to use a rocks glass either, because sometimes you can kind of over pour. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes you can over pour in a rocks glass. So, um, gotta be cautious with that. But there it is right there. Nice, deep, rich mahogany. Look at that. I probably poured myself way too much. That's probably, okay, I'm gonna tell you, that's probably too much. But, settle in. It's the evening. It is the evening nightcap. It is a Friday night. It is a mathematician's holiday. We were out at. We went to go eat at BJ's. My wife got off of work early, and so we were like, all right, what do you want to do? Go over to Goodwill. Jam packed, full of people. First of all. Oh, by the way, actually, I was at Savers today before my daughter got out of school, and I found some headphones. You may or may not have heard me in my videos talk about I'm looking for headphones. I gave my daughter my pair of headphones I really liked, and she really likes those ones. But I want to find a good pair for myself, but I don't want to pay full retail. And these are some AKG headphones. You'll notice like some other brands. Like, I've seen them on Samsung headphones before. It'll be Samsung headphones, and then it'll also say AKG. So these are the actual AKG brand. The sound is pretty amazing. Really, really great sound. The only thing I just don't like is that they sit on your ear. I'd rather have the whole cover of the whole ear. So not my favorite, but these will do for now until I can find a pair that I actually like. Probably some Bose or the other ones I like are the Sony ones. I do really like the Sony noise canceling ones, so keep my eye out for those. So, but these are really good too. These will be really good, and they'll work for now. They resell for about $40 to $50. I have bought and resold these before, fly under the radar because they're not, it's not a brand that everybody's well aware of. They're actually a premium brand. They sound really great. So I'm just looking for a pair of headphones. You see these out there. They sound amazing. Okay, let's go straight into the drink. Oh, I think I poured myself way too much, but oh well. We will finish that tonight. We went over to BJ's. We like BJ's. BJ's is a cool restaurant. They have a lot of good food there. Just good solid food. They actually do a really, really good tri-tip. If you like tri-tip, they do a really good tri-tip there. Oh yeah. That's a good peppery cherry. That's really good and incredibly hot going down. Incredibly hot going down. So incredibly hot if you let it sit in your mouth, and incredibly hot going down. So that's intense. What did I say? Oh, they do a really, really great tri-tip there. I'm a huge fan of tri-tip. I was introduced to tri-tip when I was young, a kid, and we had a lot of at the church I went to. Where they had several people there that were big into barbecuing. They were huge into barbecuing. Now, barbecuing, it's some of my nitpicky things. So when somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to barbecue," I'm gonna, come over to the party. We're gonna barbecue, and they pull out the grill and they start grilling. Grilling. So barbecuing is cooking. Let me see if I get the pronunciation or what it means right. It's basically cooking off to the side of your heat source, so or indirectly. So you're not cooking directly over a heat. So grilling, you're cooking over a heat source. That's not barbecuing. Barbecuing is more like smoking. Like if you're smoking something, like my smoker outside. My smoker, it has the little pit where I have a pellet one, so little pellets go inside the thing. It burns it. It's off to the side, and then my whatever I'm smoking is off to the other side of the smoker, and then the smoke and the heat are cooking it. Well, the heat's cooking it. The smoke is giving it flavor. So that's barbecuing, and where are they going with that? Oh yeah, we had a bunch of people at our church that were into barbecuing. They were huge barbecuers. They even came up with their own sauce. They would go to competitions and everything like that. And they loved tri-tips, and I got into tri-tips. Now, There's something, this is not really reseller content, but if you like tri-tip, or if you, let's say you don't like tri-tip because, you find it chewy, because it can be chewy. It can be not so tender. I mean, first of all, cook it. You got to cook it right. It's not, it generally cooks relatively fast. There's not too much fat. On the inside, that is. On the outside, there could be quite a bit of fat on the outside if you don't trim it, or if it's not doesn't come fully trimmed. And then generally it takes about, I think, I generally like to smoke around 250, and on the smoker, it should take about an hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe, if I remember correctly. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Not too long. It's not too long. I generally like them about medium. As far as the redness on the inside, generally I prefer medium. My family looks like a little bit more than that, so generally I'll cook it a little bit more because to me it's still all good. But the interesting thing about a tri-tip, now I don't know if you're aware of the grains, the grain of the fibers, the muscle fibers. I don't want to gross anybody out, but it runs in a certain direction, and what's called cutting against the grain. It's pretty obvious with something like a flank steak or like a skirt steak. When you get it, you could see like the lines on it just running, just in one direction. And what you want to do is cut like that. So, and then when you eat it, it'll be a lot more tender. If you cut it like this, it's going to get stringy. You're not going to be able to bite through it. It's going to be tough to bite through and all that. So you want to cut it against the grain. Now, the problem with tri-tip is the grain goes like this. It's like a split, like a fans out. So it's a little more difficult to find the grain. I mean, you could see it before you cook it, before you season it sometimes. Sometimes when it's fully seasoned, it's kind of hard to see, but if before you season it, you can see the grain. And generally what I do, I'll split it. So the best way, in my opinion, to cut it is long ways, and you'll kind of you could keep turning it to make sure you cut the grain, but I just prefer just to cut it long way. And generally what I'll do is, so I don't get like these super long strips, is I'll slice it right in half and then cut it as if I was cutting it long ways, so I'll get like, I'll get smaller pieces. And they're still tender, and so when you bite into it, it just breaks apart, as opposed to being stringy. Because I've had so much tri-tip, tri-tip sandwiches. I'll go to barbecue spots and get, give me a tri-tip sandwich. And it just, they cut it all wrong. I mean, it's cooked right, it tastes good. It's just, you bite it and then it's just all stringy, or you try to pull it out and then the whole piece comes out with the sandwich. I'm like, you're left with bread. I'm like, ugh. So, there's a proper way to cut meats. The way that you be cut. Tri-tip is a little tricky. You can probably Google it, or on YouTube you can probably watch people how properly cut it. But it's important if you want to have a good meal. Not a stringy meal, especially in a sandwich too, because you want it to break up in a sandwich. Okay. Either way, nice sweet, a nice. That was intense. A nice syrupy, like a syrupy cherry, and then you hit with pepper. There's peppery notes in there as well too. Very, very good. Intense too. Very intense. Very hot. So if it's a cold evening like it is right now, you still got the beanie on. We're getting more rain around here, and the temperature has dropped. So this will really warm you up. And I'll tell you right now, for this type of proof, that is way too much whiskey. I would recommend having a little bit less than that. Maybe adding a little bit of water, proof it down a little bit. But I always like to enjoy, the expression of the way the person that bottled it, the what do they call them? The master distillers, the way they want it to be drank, which these things spend years in barrels, and you can drink your whiskey however you wish to drink it. can have a Jack and Coke or something, or you can pour this over ice, have Coke with it, whatever you want to do with it. Um, you know, that's however you like it. That's the best way you can possibly have it, is how you like it. As long as it's whiskey. Okay, go ahead. Let me pop the picture back up. All right, there's the picture right there. More whiskey. Jameson playing cards, brand new. I couldn't help myself when I find these things. This was originally, I had this in my collection. I've been thinning down my collection as of late, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sell it. It was brand new. It was cool. I collected the barware stuff, distillery stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna open this. I mean, someone else can enjoy it, and so decided to sell it. What did it sell for? $7.69. Just a deck of playing cards. Nothing wild here. $5.80 is what they paid in shipping. So really, really cool. Distillery stuff sells. You know, you can look for the major name brands, the unique ones. Those ones kind of sell, like, you know, the Glenlivet. You really don't see like Glenlivet stuff out there. I have Lafroig, one of my favorites. I have a bunch of Lafroig stuff because Lafroig is one of my favorite Scotch whiskeys. You see that Isla hat I wear from time to time? That's from Lafroig. On the back, it's embroidered Lafroig. And so, that is, like I said, one of my personal favorites. I do collect a lot of Lafroig stuff, if I find it, but I don't find it that often. So when I do, I stash it away. Jameson, fairly common stuff. So, I had no problem selling this one, and it sold relatively quickly. Not like we're not getting rich here, but still, it sold. If you watch any of my regular videos where I'm out and about, Goodwill Savers, where, you know, well, primarily Goodwill Savers, thrift stores, I should say, you'll see I will go down the planner aisle, and planners do incredibly well. And they sell this one here, a day runner, vintage day runner with a solar calculator that still works, mind you. That still works, mind you. Sold. These ones with that you could refill, these the ring binders, they'll do better just because someone can refill it. So really, really cool. Day runner, organizer, planner, pro, business. Yeah, I always throw business in there because, yeah, that's primarily where we're going to find these business people are going to be using these. Black leather. I prefer leather ones. I will pick up others, but I prefer to look for the leather ones, leather binders, leather portfolios. It is a binder, and, you know, people in an office might be the most obvious using these. Oh, the playing cards went in one of my small, I think it's no, it's not a 4. Let me look up, where's my phone at? Let me look up right now those tiny, because I keep saying, like, I'm gonna look up which are the smallest bubble padded poly mailers that I use. And I never look it up, so I'm going to look it up right now. Let me go into my shopping list and my supplies. And those are 6x10. They're 6x10 inch poly mailers. Those are the smallest ones that I use. Why do I use those? Well, several years ago, I was having a lot of lost packages. I was using smaller ones, like for jewelry and stuff like that. Lego minifigures. So I would use smaller ones than that, but they kept getting lost. And by kept getting lost, I don't mean, you know, it was like 1 or 2 here a month or so, and to me that's way too much. So I decided to change the size, and the cost as far as per thing was, I think it was maybe like a penny or two. It wasn't very much to move up to that next size and still get the quantity I wanted. And these are white, so hopefully it can't be missed. I hope. And you know, it's been very, knock on wood, very successful with those. So knock on wood. So I already forgot. What did I say they were? 6x10. So 6 inches by 10 inches. Those are the smallest poly mailers, and it happens to be a padded poly mailer as well too. Incredibly versatile. And again, yeah, I did it so that I can help to avoid lost packages. Okay, the planner went in a larger one. Went in one of my larger. Let me tell you, since I'm on this right now, I'll tell you the larger size I do get. And that one comes in real handy. I'll even put board games in these things if they fit. Very versatile size as well too. As well, did I already say that already? 20 inches by 14 1/4 inches are the other padded poly mailer size that I do order and keep in stock regularly and use regularly. Comes in handy. And it works really, really well. You can fold it to size. As opposed to just buying all kinds of different sizes and wasting money and having all these sizes sitting around and pull maybe, one size every so often. You might as well just put that money into a size that you could use for multiple items. So, and like I said, those larger padded poly bags, padded poly mailers, like I said, I've used them for board games as well too. So they work incredibly well. I'll be using it on a new board game because I just sold one recently, or on Monday. Monday I'll go out. Okay. This was really cool. I definitely look out for this stuff. It's burl wood. This actually did have some sort of a sculpture on it. I saw the remnants of it on it, but I still purchased it, and it sold for $20. Oh, did I say the planner? Planner was $22.02. $11.71 is what the shipping was, what they paid in shipping. The wood here, the burl wood, $20, and then $7.16 in shipping. It went somewhere close because of that low shipping cost. And burl wood is basically like the knot in the tree. That's where the burl wood comes from. And it is sought after, and a lot of people do sculptures with it. And that's what someone will do with this piece, which is why I put woodworking, rustic, natural. I could have probably put nature in there, art and crafts. I left the and out of there to give me more space. So burlwood piece, just really cool. You keep your eye out for it. Don't pay too much for it, and it will sell if you price it right. Now, this was actually in my collection. This is a rocks glass. It is, as you can see, I put rocks glass in there. It's just, the rocks glass is just the smaller glass. Just a straight, round glass, small. But I kind of liked it because the Winnie the Pooh, we're huge Disney fans. I'm not necessarily a huge Winnie the Pooh fan, but I mainly had it because it was Disney. I thought it was kind of cool. Frosted. The characters were actually a little see-through. So it was pretty cool, but I was like, I've been buying some more barber glasses, adding them to my collection. I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? It doesn't really fit. Winnie the Pooh doesn't really sit well next to a decanter of whiskey. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sell it. $16.33 is what it sold for. $10.85 for the shipping. I believe this went to New Hampshire, if I remember correctly. Because I was like, why the 85 cents? And because it was going to that furthest part in, well, I think Maine's further, but almost the furthest part in New England. But yeah, really cool. Just a rocks glass, Winnie the Pooh. Would I recommend picking it up? It sold relatively quickly after I listed it. If you can get it for like $1 or $2, less than $5. Definitely less than $5 on this piece. Now the next... Oh, I didn't know where my mouse went. Now the next piece is a piece of vintage jewelry. Now, I don't know what people get out there for vintage jewelry, but we sell and used to sell more jewelry and lots of jewelry, but vintage pieces are very tough. Like I've heard people and watched videos on people picking up jewelry, and they'll be like, Renaud, definitely a brand to look out for. A necklace, like if someone that I'm aware of would pick this up, they'd be like, oh, this would be like $50, $60, $70. But no, it doesn't really. I don't know. In my opinion, it's cool. I think it should sell, a lot quicker, but it didn't. It took a while to sell. It took several months to sell. And it didn't sell for that much. $23.07. $5.80 on the shipping. It's a cool piece. It's vintage jewelry. It's not sterling silver. It's not fine jewelry. It's costume jewelry, but nonetheless, it has a great name behind it. It's just vintage jewelry. It on eBay, I don't think it's really the best market for it. Maybe in another marketplace. But then again, I haven't seen that great of activity on other marketplaces with vintage jewelry. You hear a lot of people talk about, Trifari. What's the big one that everyone always talks about? Uh, um, Monet. Monet is another one, and yeah, it does sell, but it based on what how I've sold it, what I've sold, and years of selling it. It may have had its day several years ago, but it just doesn't really move that well, doesn't move that fast, and doesn't move for as much as you may hear about online. And one of the reasons why I don't really talk about the jewelry, I sell, I just sold some, what else did I sell recently? Uh, Kate Spade jewelry. I recently sold some Kate Spade jewelry. So, I know that's not vintage, but nonetheless, it's still jewelry. Um, Jewelry's tough. Jewelry is tough to sell. I mean, obviously, if you have gold, silver, stuff like that, piece of cake. But to get the price that technically a lot of us feel you should be getting for this, it's just not there. It's just people just aren't. You get a lot of looks, a lot of watchers, a lot of people, a lot of views, but it just doesn't move. People just don't want to pay up for it. Like milk glass, milk glass, it gets tons of views, all kinds of watchers on it, but no one wants to pay for it. So, yeah, and I mentioned every time I see milk glass, people just don't like to pay up for it. They don't like to pay anything for it. So, yeah, so yeah, it does sell though. It does move. It is a good. It's well made. It's a well made piece. For fine jewelry, it's a great piece. But I mean, for not for fine jewelry, for fashion jewelry, it's a great piece. But it just doesn't move that fast and for that much. So you really, really got to pay low. And good luck trying to pay low for any type of jewelry, for that matter. Everyone always wants to charge up for it when it's jewelry. But if you got a good supplier and you can buy it really, really low, and you can move it at a great price, then perhaps that might be an avenue for you. Okay, that was a lot of talking. Padded poly bag, small padded poly bag, is what this went in. Oh, the Winnie the Pooh glass, 6x6x6 box. That's a box I pretty much use for all my mugs, glassware like this. The wood, yeah, I missed out on everything. The wood, the burl wood, that went in a 12-8-6 box. Okay. Okay. DVDs. I talked about the other DVD pack in the last one. Was it the last video? Was it the last video or the video before that where I got that one that sold for $50-ish, I think? This one, $23.13, which is more in line with what these will go for. 100-pack DVD, blank DVDs. So $8.55 is what they paid in shipping, which is relatively low because this is fairly heavy. And went in a 12-8-6 box. So went close to me, which is why, the shipping was so low on that. And they do sell, and they sell for the 100 packs of blank DVDs. Again, will go for between $20 and $25, so make sure you pay accordingly. This next brand kind of surprised me at the speed at which it sold. Just a few hours is all it took to sell this item. Did I underprice it? I don't think so. If I did, I didn't underprice it by very much. But Coronado leather purse, women's dark blue. It's a very dark blue, almost gray, really, really thick leather purse. I didn't put that thick in there, but I took plenty of pictures. And I mean, this was really, really thick leather, almost like Western wear type of leather. I didn't use that in here, but there's a section in the it depicts like style, and I put Western in the style in the item specifics. So really, really cool brand. Keep your eye out for it. The little the closure was very, very unique. It was just like a little C clamp almost. It was like in the shape of a C. It wasn't a C clamp, but it was like in the shape of a C, and you kind of just pinched it together and it opened it, and then you can close it like that. It didn't have a magnet or anything like that. Really, really thick Southwestern, more cowboy type of leather style. Really cool. Keep your eye out for this brand name. It's so fast. Maybe I just priced it right. Maybe I priced it too low. I don't think I did. Hopefully if I did, I hope I didn't lose too much. Don't anybody tell me if I did. $62.77 is what it sold for. $10.67 is what they paid in shipping. And I put this in one of my hat boxes, just to give it a little bit more of a, because they spent $62, so I'm going to give them a little bit more of an experience, quality experience. That's the word I'm looking for. But really, really cool. I forgot what else I was going to say about it, but keep your eye out. Coronado. Yeah, well, I lost it. Usually, the vowels, like that. That's a con. The D's not a vowel, but no. Take it back. If I remember correctly, if I'm remembering my Spanish class, I have there's no excuse for me not to speak Spanish fluently. There's zero excuse for it, because my mom speaks Spanish, my dad speaks Spanish, my wife speaks Spanish, my grandmother spoke Spanish. I grew up in I'm Mexican and Native American, so I should be speaking. I grew up, all my friends were Mexican. Most of my friends when I was little were Mexican. Then I got older, I had other friends, Mexican, Indians, all kinds of different friends. But if I remember correctly, if the D in between the two vowels, where's my cursor at? My cursor right? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So, because the D falls between the A and the O, then that D will make a TH sound. In English, it would make a TH sound. I think I'm saying that correctly. I think I am. Okay. Again, no excuse for me not to be better at Spanish not to be a more fluent in Spanish than I am. So, okay. I can't roll my R's though. Where's my cursor at? Oh, there it is. Okay. San Jose Giants, minor league stuff. Keep your eye out for minor league things, just because they tend to be a little bit more rare, a little more specialized. You can get a little bit more for them, especially if they are themed. They do a lot of themes. There's one from Nevada, which I forget. I think I don't know if they're named after Area 51 or not. But I found a really cool one. Had an alien. I was gonna keep it, but it didn't quite fit my big head. So it had an alien head on it, and I'm a big alien guy, alien believer. So I was gonna keep it, but it didn't fit my head, so I sold it. It sold for like over $30, if I remember correctly. So, and hats, in my opinion, if they go for up over $20, that's a good hat. Maybe more than that is like, wow, amazing. And this is obviously, if you recognize it, is based on Harry Potter. This was given away at Harry Potter night. San Jose Giants. It is a new era hat. Is what a little bit more of like I guess this dad style, where it's kind of floppier, but it sold for $25. $6.57 what they paid in shipping. This went in a 975 box, one of my hat boxes. But it still had all the stickers on it. It was brand new, brand spanking new. So definitely something to keep your eye out for if it's associated with a popular brand. And a lot of these minor league teams, they do these specialized hats. They'll do these, like another one is San Jose Giants. There was a I was gonna say chorizo. I had a chorizo burrito the other morning. What is it? A churro. And it was like a churro man, which was really cool. And that one sold for up over $30 as well too. So keep your eye out. Minor league teams. It can be a little bit hard to spot because they're not so obvious, but Google Image is your friend. Google Image it, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. I'm quite familiar with Sound of the Giant stuff because it's all over the place here in San Jose. Okay. Something here that doesn't sell for an incredible amount, but sells incredibly fast if you price it around $15. $15.42 is what this sold for. $10 is what the shipping was. 12 by 8 by 6 box. I mean, the Ford Explorer from Jurassic Park. And so long as it's, there's nothing broken on it. It has all the windows. It has all the tires. The front, the front grille. As long as it's in decent shape. And there's not too much missing, or I would say as long as nothing's missing and the paint's still there, you should get around $15. So make sure you pay less than $5, $3, $2. Garage sale price like $1. If you can get it for that, it'll sell for around $15, and it will sell incredibly fast at $15. So not anymore. Less, yes, but try to get $15 for it. It will sell for $15. Now, this was incredibly interesting. I really like this. I have another one, but it actually has the face of it. Actually has a panda. It's a panda face. But this one's a little bit more industrial, and that's why I put automotive in there, because it just screamed automotive to me. Like it should be in a shop somewhere. It's an alarm clock. Really cool. And I initially thought maybe it'd be magnetic on the bottom, but it's not. But it's by a company called Present Time, and they're from it says it's from the Netherlands, so I put Dutch in there. And alarm clock modern, just has that modern stainless steel look to it. And I just put automotive. It's not necessarily automotive, but when I looked at it, I thought immediately automotive. So let me know what you think, what it looks like to you. Had really cool little springs, but kind of just, kind of cool. Adds a little bit of a, if you're, fidgety, you can just knock it back and forth. But just a really cool alarm clock. I sell alarm clocks all the time, and they do really well. Vintage alarm clocks still sell. People still buy alarm clocks, and not everybody relies on their cell phones or Alexa like I do. Did I just say it? I have like two of them here in my garage. I'm in my garage. $32.60 is what it sold for, and $8.71 is what the shipping was on this. And this went in. I did put this in a hat box. I thought about putting it in a padded poly mailer. I almost did, but I don't know. Something told me don't. I think probably because it was going pretty far, and something just said put it in a box. So I was like, all right, I'll put it in a box. Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut. In my opinion, listen to your that. It doesn't do me wrong, and really cool. So really cool. Alarm clocks. People still buy alarm clocks with all the technology we have nowadays. Alarm clocks still sell. I don't use alarm clocks, but some people do. Actually, I think me and my wife were talking about getting an alarm clock for my son. He doesn't. He doesn't hear his phone, or his phone dies. he doesn't like the Alexa, so. One of those ones with the hammers on the top that goes back and forth. Ding, 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 ding. And then, what's next? Oh, this was really cool. Hold on. I gotta blow my nose really quick. Okay, those vapors are strong. It's pretty intense, so be warned. Okay, this is really cool vase. The colors on this were just striking. When I saw it in Goodwill, and I'm green is my favorite color. If for those of you who don't know, I don't know. Maybe it's associated with the month you're born in. That becomes your favorite color. Because I was born in May, and green emerald is the color. And I just have this. When I see something green, it's like I like green. So. I like blue too, but I like green. And when I saw this, I was just like, it's really cool, really thick piece of glass. It's not signed or anything. Has a nice smooth polished bottom, which is an indication of, good craftsmanship. It doesn't necessarily mean it's worth a lot, but it's a sign that it could potentially be worth something. That someone took the effort to really nicely polish the bottom off, and picked it up. I ended up getting the name of this, which is why you see all the. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce, what it is, but you see it in the title there, and Google Image helped me find that. Just vintage. I didn't think that would be a good necessarily selling point, but I wanted it in the title. However, which is why at the beginning of the title of this listing, I put vintage cobalt blue, because cobalt blue will grab a lot of views for you. Will help you if you have cobalt blue items. Just a really dark, rich blue. Look it up if you don't know. Green glass vase, and I went into the, what Google Image told me it was, decor. Very heavy. $42 is what it sold for. $15.02 is what they spent on shipping. So this is a very heavy piece. Went in a 15 by 8 by 6 box. So really cool. Very nice vase. This one I spotted it. The colors were striking. I picked it up. Knew it was good quality glass. It was nice and thick. Checked the bottom to see if it was signed. Wasn't signed, but noticed it was nicely polished. And then therefore I was like, let me just take a Google image and see if something comes up. And sure enough, something came up. And some of the prices that people were asking were a little bit higher. But, $40 what it ended up selling for. So really cool. And not bad, for just a... Well, actually, this had a name. I was going to say no name, but this did have some sort of a name. Not that I could pronounce any of that. Not that I even know, where that is from. I'm getting like the Balkans or something. Republic of Georgia. I don't know. No clue. Really. I mean, I guess I could look it up. We can Google anything we want and look it up nowadays. So, but nonetheless, I got it sold. It has a home. Am I out of focus? I don't think I am. Let me go a little bit closer to my camera. Maybe my camera. I don't think I'm out. I look like I'm out of focus on here, but maybe after the fact it won't be. Let's get through this last one here, and then so that way I get to the discussion. I'll double check my camera and everything, make sure I am in focus. Well, I think it looks a little more focused now. Maybe I fixed it by going back and forth. But just here we go. Next, last piece, just vintage shares, certificates, shares in a mining company, which, of course, I looked up to see. I was looking up to see if these have any value now, and they don't have any value. So they're just a collector's item now, and they sold for $30.10, and then $5.09 on the. Oh, I already said what the base is. These just went in a padded poly mailer. I did put some cardboard in there so that way it doesn't bend. But just really cool. Just some vintage Americana stock exchange, stock certificates, and some sort of a mining company, which when I was looking it up, I do believe they were out of Arizona. Not 100% sure, but it looks like these were from a mining company in Arizona. And sold. So really, really cool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and I'm going to make sure, because the last time I left a picture in the discussion phase of this video, so I'll make sure that gets out of there, make sure I'm in focus, and yeah, let's discuss eBay bans. Okay, so I think I'm good to go now. So banned on eBay. So I was watching a video, and there was someone that put on there banned on eBay. I'm like, whoa, banned on eBay. Well, let's see what they're talking about, right? Grabs attention. It's a good clickbaity title, which is why I used it. Grab some attention, but this person is a seller as well as a buyer, not just on eBay, but on other platforms as well too. However, they got banned as a buyer. I was like, what? Okay, now I gotta hear this story. how does a buyer on eBay get banned? Unless they're scamming too much. So this person stated that they were banned because of too many returns. They had too many returns and too many items returned not in the original condition. So that is one of the things, when you return an item, it needs to be in the original condition that it was sent in. And if it's not, then you can, as a buyer, as a seller, you can report them. You can, if you have, there are certain protections. If you offer free returns and everything like that, you can take money back. And not only that, but they were also, I think she said, if I remember correctly, abuse of the return system. Because when you file when you report a buyer for anything, you say abuse of the return system if they're using something like item doesn't work and you get it back and it works, or item not as described, you get it back, it's the exact same thing that you listed with, and then you described it appropriately, took the appropriate pictures, then you can flag that as well too. And so I was always under the impression that eBay, and this person was too, she was also aware, or at least believed, that eBay always sides with the buyer. And that was always my assumption, that the buyer, and which is why I never, when reporting buyers, I sometimes I would do it, sometimes I wouldn't. I would kind of just be like, all right, I just want to be done with it. I just want to clear the returns and, not. I definitely report them if it was a scam, if they sent me back something that wasn't mine. Sent me back something I have had where they've sent me back the item, but not the complete item. And of course, I'll report that. But as far as item not as described, sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I wouldn't. I would just be like, I just want to be done with it, move on with my life. And so I wasn't as diligent at reporting people for that. However, after hearing this, I'm going to make sure I do report every single one that is not correct. And I did recently, as a matter of fact, with those shoes, by the way, which, those shoes that I sent in, which I didn't send in, which the person returned back to me saying there's an ungodly odor. There was no odor at all. There was nothing. They were the exact same thing. I smelled them up and down. Nothing. There was nothing to them. So I relisted them and I reported them. There was another person that sent, oh, this is this wallet is actually a dark brown. I put black. It was black. And I'm looking under different lighting. I'm like, I look out in the sunlight. I'm like, this is black. This is not dark brown. It's not brown. There's no brown. It's black. So I reported them too. So I'm going on a reporting spree. Not that I get that many returns, however, as much of this month of March. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But either way, so it was what ultimately got the ban was a French press. So she ordered a French press because she wanted to try French press coffee. Now, and she was getting too many grounds in her coffee, and she went and bought like a Le Creuset, which, why would you get the Cadillac of French presses if you're just gonna, if you just want to start trying it out, is one thing like one thing that I specialize in, which is, well, I used to specialize in, now I'm not really in shape, but snowboarding. One thing I would tell people when they were just starting out, because some people wanted to go up with me, I'd be like, hey, I know you snowboard, can we go teach us or whatever? I'm like, yeah, sure, jump in. People from church or whatever, I'll be like, yeah, let's go. I'll take you up. I'll kind of show you some pointer tips, show you how to get started. And then that sometimes they'll be like, oh man, look what I got, look at the board I got. I'm like, look at that. I'm like, don't get the latest and greatest. Don't get any. You rent a board. You want the most scratched up board, the one that's been over the most rocks, the one that is been abused and used and everything, because you're gonna have a hard time riding some high end, like a Burton Burton board, or my favorite brand was oh, can't even remember the one. I've had several boards. Um, different boards for different scenarios, situations. You never know what you're gonna, different board. There's different situations, different writing styles, different conditions that you would need a certain board style for. But either way, that is neither here nor there because I don't do it anymore. Well, one of these days I do plan to get back. Not that I'm gonna get back to what I used to do, but at least get back to the mountain. That is my plan. But we'll see how that goes. But if you have the latest and greatest gear as a beginner, it will actually hurt you in your learning. That board, when you get a nice, good board, a good quality board, you jump on the ice, that thing's gonna take off on you. It's gonna be like more than likely it'll slide out right from under you. So you really want a board that has been, abused and used, and so that way it just doesn't grab that snow, it just takes off on you. So this person went with the Cadillac of French press. Well, nonetheless, I don't know if that translates at all, but either way, this person went with the Cadillac of French presses. I would have just gone with go to TJ Maxx and get a French press from there for like $10 and $15. But either way, she was saying that she was getting too many grounds in her coffee. Well, I don't know if anybody uses, if anybody's familiar with French presses, but I'm a bit of a coffee connoisseur, and from time to time I'll use French press. I like a nice stovetop espresso, a nice pour over. Right now I'm doing a lot of coffee pot, because the coffee pot kind of reminds me of like diner style food. So I like I like that old school diner type of feeling. So but with a French press, because the grounds are just sitting in the water, they're gonna, as you pour it, it's out coming out from the bottom, so you're gonna get grounds in your coffee. And if you don't use the appropriate the appropriate grounds for a French press, you're going to get probably a lot of grounds in your coffee. If you just buy like the ground coffee from the supermarket and think you're going to use it in a French press, you're going to get a bunch of coffee grounds. So you're going to have to either have a grinder at home or have a store grind it, but you want the most coarsely ground coffee you can possibly get when you're using a French press. And one other thing to note as well too, you might find your coffee to be really bitter coming out of a French press because everything's just sitting there with the ground coffee beans. So my recommendation, if you do want to use a French press or interested in using a French press, is put your stuff in there, and then fill it up with you do it like a rinse basically, and you get your hot water, pour it in there, just kind of cover the grounds, and then dump that, let it sit there for about a minute or so, and then dump that out. Then do your main pour after that. That'll take away a lot of the bitterness and give you a nice, smooth cup of coffee. But either way, she was getting a bunch of coffee grounds, and then she was like, I bought this high-end, French press, and I shouldn't be getting coffee grounds out of it. Well, if you're familiar with a French press, doesn't matter what kind of French press you have, you're gonna get coffee grounds in there, even if you get the appropriate ground, the coarsely ground coffee in there. You're gonna get grounds. It's gonna happen. Unfortunately, it's just unavoidable. So, she decided to return it, and who knows how long she used it for. And the person got it back. She showed a picture. There was a chip on the lid, which the person said, the seller said, that chip wasn't originally there. Then the buyer said, well, the chip wasn't there when I had it. And it's just a he said, she said. Who knows at what point when it got chipped. But if the seller, sent it to them and it had no chip, it needs to return with no chip in it. And so the seller took action, which I'm pretty sure the seller was, they did what they, what we should be doing is reporting these people. And eBay doesn't tell you what happens with those reports. And probably one of the reasons why I never really, I didn't really think it was that important. And so until this video, and this person is now saying that was what did her in, was this last return. The person filed item return not as described, or not as not in its original condition, and so that got this person. It was just temporary ban. It actually had her. She was a seller as well too, and it had all her listings taken down as well too. So. I don't know. Apparently, this person, they said they don't do that many returns, but I don't think eBay would take action on somebody that just does 1 or 2 returns a year. She made it sound as if it was just maybe 1 or 2 returns over the last year. I don't know how far back eBay looks at it. Is this person just a return abuser, just constantly returning things? And you know, as a seller, and one thing I do notice with, especially with the last 2 returns I had, you know, them using the item not as described and getting it back, and it's everything's perfectly fine. Or when you do those electronics and the person says the item doesn't work, you get it back and it works, you know, those are abuses of the system. And who, you know, in the people that I believe are, that really, really know the system are sellers, you know, people with, you know, significant feedback. And apparently she had significant feedback as well too. So they know how to work the system. They know how to get all their money back. And I guess from now on, if any of these, you know, if somebody's returning items, abusing the system, report them. Report them, because it does work. It works. The reporting system works. I mean, this is, for me, I don't know if anybody else has heard of any other instances where buyers got banned or were punished because of this. But I guess it works. I found out, or other people found out too, because it's on YouTube, it's on social media. So people are finding out now that the actual reporting of the buyers works. So I'm gonna be sure to make sure. I'm gonna be sure that I report these people. I want to make sure. No, am I saying that right? I'm gonna be sure to report these people when they are abusing the system. Like I did recently, like in March, because beginning of March has been pretty crappy, not from a sales perspective, but from a, knock on wood, from a return perspective. I've had 5 returns. One of them is a what do you call it? They didn't return it because they changed their mind. Basically, it wasn't because it wasn't working or anything like that. So appropriately, they used the appropriate code. And the other ones were, you know, items not received. So I've been reporting these people that have been items not received. Items, what do you call it? Items not as described or not working when they are in fact as described and working. So I've been reporting them, and so far, beginning of March has been me dealing with that, which is not, you know, it's not like, you know, all right, 5 of them, you know, that's, you know, half my sales. No, it's not that much in the grand scheme of things, but nonetheless, nobody likes dealing with returns. So I like to clear them as quickly as possible. You know, I like to hurry up and get them back, which is why I don't like it when they have them, you know, if the person started the return and it's just, you know, saying, waiting for the person to send it off, waiting for the person to send it off. I'm like, I'd like to hurry up and get rid of it, be done with it, and move on. But March has been a good month with that. And then I had several items that were, what do you call it, late in delivery. There was a day where, for some bizarre reason, there were 3 items that the post office just did not scan in one. It was just one day. I was like, ugh. Because I had 3 in December, and December, you know, there's a lot of packages going on in December, so okay, it's not the end of the world. And then we're good and in the clear until beginning of March. I'm like, come on, March has not been the best as far as I guess from a, what'd you call it, customer service perspective or something like that. Yeah, you know, dealing with returns and stuff like that. You know, the non exciting stuff of eBay. We're not, you know, the non, you know, I'd rather be talking about selling thousands of dollars worth of items, or, you know, I'd rather be dealing with that instead of, you know, the returns. But either way, sales are good. Sales are good. Knock on wood, always, you know, sales are good, and we're finding great items. Have a lot of stuff I still got a list. As a matter of fact, the my wife was off for a week already, about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now, and so she doesn't typically source with me because she's working. And so what do we do when she was off? She wanted to go to Goodwills, went to the bins. We did all, sourcing, thrift stores, all kinds of sourcing. So we got all kinds of stuff for a whole week. So I didn't need to really do too much. And I did a lot of filming during that time. So I had a lot of footage that I haven't been doing any long form video or filming any long form videos in a bit. I've just been doing a lot of short stuff because I've had a lot of footage and I don't want it to get all backed up. I got the shoes back. Make sure you report your buyers if they are abusing the system. Again, you don't, and as a seller, don't abuse the reporting system either. It works on both sides. You don't abuse it, they don't abuse it. It's just use it appropriately. So the last thing I kind of want to discuss is a little bit of investment slash stock market type of talk. I don't really like to talk about it too much. Everybody's situation is different, and I don't want to give out any advice on what you should be doing, where you should be putting your money. It's not my place to do it. I'm not certified in anything to be discussing that, and not necessarily discussing that, but offering advice to that. So this is not advice. It's just kind of to tell you that there's not just money to be made during the good times. When things are going up, when price, when you're having all kinds of sales, everything's great. You're having sales. This person's having sales. Sales. And recently a lot of people have been quitting the reselling game and or quitting eBay, or not seeing that much success anymore. And because we're in a bit of a, some people feel we're in a bit of a downturn right now. I think we could be in a downturn. Prices are going up for some things. There's tariffs that are constantly, I wish there would be a little bit more, stability as far as tariffs go. But it is what it is. It's the world we live in at the moment. And prices are going up. I've talked about this. There may be pain this year because of tariffs and some of these policies are in place, but hopefully for a brighter future. Hopefully. And but as far as there is money to be made when times are good, when in the stock market, when stock prices are going up, there's you can make money. And that's pretty much what you hear a lot of put your money here, it's going to go up. It's going to go up over time. It might go up and down, but over time it's going to go up. And that's pretty much what a lot of people talk about and say. When you hear about investing, invest here, it's going to go up. Well, there's money when it goes down, when stock prices go down. There's also money there to me. You might be thinking, oh, it's losses. The company's losing. The stock price is going down. Well, there's something called shorting, or taking a short position in a company. A couple of very famous and influential people have made an incredible fortune shorting companies, or shorting even currency. To that, you can short pretty much anything. There are certain conditions that you have to do, and in general, you have to have, a considerable amount of funds, of resources in order to do this. But there's a lot of money to be made, and George Soros and Bill Ackman. If you're familiar with some of these people appear in the news quite often, but they made incredible fortunes off shorting, taking short positions, and basically betting that things in whatever they were shorting were going to go down. Bill Ackman most recently was taking big position in betting, and he actually lost in betting against Herbalife. It was in the news all the time, and he was constantly on the news beating it down and saying this is a pyramid scheme. This is it's going to go down. It's going to on a PR campaign, and well, ultimately he kind of failed. And I think someone else was betting against him, trying to get him to fail. But nonetheless, he already made, a incredible fortune, shorting other companies, taking a short position in other companies that, is able to weather that. But nonetheless, there is money to be made when times are not looking good. There is money to be made when times are good, and there are money when things are bad as well too. So don't think because right now, oh, everybody's quitting, it's a reselling's going away, or it's a downturn of reselling. There's still money there. You just have to know how to find it. Know what's selling right now, which is why I still want to do these what sold videos. I still think they're important. Um, I hope I hope that you are. I hope that if you're watching some other videos, you're learning what I'm looking at, what I'm finding, what I'm describing, how I'm looking for items. I'm going to Goodwill or wherever I'm going, thrift stores, wherever I'm going. That's it. That's the end of it. I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, and I got to remember this now, that I relaunched my Shopify store. So my Shopify store has been relaunched, redone, and it's all, I'm pretty much focusing it now on items I find in the thrift store. I'm putting them in my Shopify store. I am slowly building it up. It's not going to be, it's going to be a few select items in there. It's nothing going to be, I'm not going to have like this massive eBay store in there. I'm not going to put all my eBay store in there. Just a few select items that I think are cool and I think that people will like. And if you like anything in these videos, in the videos where I'm going to Goodwill, I'm going to the thrift stores, if you see anything in there, my email is in the description of all these videos. Gemflipper 35. Remember? Yeah, Gemflipper 35. So hopefully it's pretty easy to write. Gmail. So it's in the description. I get a lot of spam email in there, but I did a pretty good job of filtering all that out. But if there's anything you want in my videos, let me know. Let me know what it is, first of all, of course. And then let me know maybe what day you saw it, what video you saw it in. That might help me to if you tell me exactly what it is, I should know like what the item is and where it's at. And then if it hasn't sold on another platform already, I will let you know, and I'll drop it in the Shopify store, and you can purchase it through there. You'll see it. I'll send the link to my Shopify store, or you can just click in the right below the description. You should see the items in there, and it will take you over to the store. So that's it. End of the video. And hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope everyone enjoyed the video, enjoy the content here as well as the other content. Let me know in the comments down below, but we'll see you in the next one. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.